Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to RacingTV. Welcome along to Esports Masters League. It has been a while, hasn't it? It is season number 6. It is round 1 of the championship for PSF1, and we take in the Spanish Grand Prix from the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. Hard enough for me to say. My name is James Head. I'm going to be taking the stream in 1080p, by the way, as well. This stream will be broadcast in. Joining me in the comment box, as you can see, on the right-hand side, unfortunately sporting his Esports Wales sort of moniker with his t-shirt on in the background there. Of course, it is Mr. Michael Edwards. Mike, how you doing?
I am doing fantastic, James. Looking forward to getting back into the action. EML is back, and my God, what a selection of teams we got up here in the top flight in F1 this season.
I am really looking forward, honestly, to the amount of teams, the amount of drivers that we have out on track as well. It is going to be very exciting indeed. Everyone is in the lobby, by the way, and I can literally say now on stream, these guys can ready up because everyone is in the lobby, everyone is in their correct car as well. Let's have a look, though. First of all, importantly, before we get into the grid for tonight, at the point system for this season. Point system, of course, if you are very familiar with Esports Masters League, is pretty much the same as has been the last 3 seasons or so. First place getting 30, second place getting 25, third place getting 20, fourth getting 17, fifth getting 15, and then it's 1 point increments, 6th to 10th, down 14th to 10, 10th place, of course, getting 10, and then 11th to 19th, all getting points. Sadly, no positions paid. Sadly, or no points paid, actually, for 20th position. However, the fastest lap point is available for the guys out on track as well. And Mike, obviously with the prize pool in place, obviously with the Drivers' Champion Trophy in place as well, every single point is worth fighting for.
Absolutely, and obviously we've seen many times in the past now when races don't go well, drivers get a little bit disencouraged and they come into the pits and retire from the session. But I cannot stress this enough. Every point matters. You never know what can happen in F1. There could be a safety car and you could be brought immediately back into the race by the end of it. So do not give up. Keep on going and keep fighting.
Do you mind dropping the guys in the Discord, by the way, a message saying they can ready up? Because I'm getting frightened that we're not actually going to race this, get this race actually started.
Yeah, I will do that right now, my friend.
They're just sitting in the lobby right now. Nobody's readied up. It's only Andreas, the one that's readied up. He's probably the only one, actually, that has got us maybe in the background. We are just getting, actually settings sorted, which I think is why, and I'm going to check quite quickly through the settings for everything. Mateo is the lobby host, so anything that goes wrong is his fault. Do not blame it on us in the commentary team. It is his fault, so we'll just blame it on him. AI, I think, needs upping to 90, I think it is, or 80, one of the two. I think it's 80 for EML, 90 for Legacy Division. Looking through the settings as well, setting midday perfect, approximate. Looks like the settings are being set up, and it looks like drivers were complaining about the settings, so that is why drivers are just holding off, and we can get readied up very soon indeed. Speaking of drivers, though, out on track, let's see the grid for tonight. And there has been a change for IRT. This was going to be an old graphic. There has been a change for IRT. Smalley in alongside Phil, of course, in the Alfa Romeo, but look at the stacked and packed field that we've got for you this season. In the Red Bulls are X Esports, and they are represented by the former TNR man of Andreas and Danny Van Reuten. Hope I pronounced that right. In for Team Shazoo, it is Shazoo Macho and Shazoo Sasha. Looking to see how Sasha gets on, actually, on his debut, actually, in EML for Team Shazoo. Tales and EPL Bell Belby in for L Plan Racing. They've been doing very good things in Legacy Division, so I'm looking forward to seeing how they get on out on track. CPI Jamie and CPI Igor Jelen, the Ghost of Hungary, back in Legacy Division as well. They're there, of course, in the Ferraris. Shazoo, by the way, Mercedes. McLaren's for EPL. ET8 Matteo and Sergio, the all-Italian pairing there for ET8 and the Aston Martins. RCR, who were coming up on the rails in the second half of the season last season. Matt Olsen, Haribo, their 2 drivers in the Alpines. Marlon and Tim, very strong lineup for next level racing here tonight as well for Williams. TF10 with Skyline and Backy. Skyline, of course, former VIR driver back here in EML. Smalley and Phil, already alluded to them for IRT and the Alfa Romeos. And then in the Haas, Darth FIFA and a returning man in Lars Kramer. Yes, that's Lars Kramer. That caused a whole lot of controversy back on F122. He is back with WR, and he's back, hopefully, to try and right all the wrongs of the past. And we are going to get going very soon indeed. But looking at that lineup, Mike, what a stacked, packed grid we have got, not only tonight, but for the rest of the season.
Absolutely incredible. All these drivers, very high quality. They know how to race. They know how to fight. And I think we are in for an absolute treat. Of course, Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia, not particularly the most easiest tracks to get overtakes done. Mainly down into turn 1 if you can get a good run out of 3. Obviously, having a look into turn 4 and 5. And obviously, turn number 10, which has been made a lot wider in recent years to get moves done. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those circuits where it's just going to promote bravery. That's what I'm going to say. It's going to promote bravery. You have to get your car in the right places. And with these drivers out here tonight, they have proven over many, many times that they are willing to put their cars in the right places to make these overtakes happen. So I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I am excited to see it as well. Even more so, the drivers out on track and our viewers are more excited to see Spain. And there is the track map in question. 4.6 kilometres, 2.8 mile, 14 turns away now with drivers out on track. 2 DRS zones, of course, one down the start-finish straight in towards turn number 1, a 500-metre run down in towards turn number 1, remember, here in Spain. And then one down in towards turn number 10, the reprofiled corner, of course, from last season. And it looks to be as if it's going to be very good out on track. And speaking of getting out on track, we can now progress out on track to qualifying, and it is, like F2 was a little bit earlier on, bone dry for the start of qualifying. Remember, it is short qualifying, 18 minutes in length, and then a 50% race, which equates to 35 laps around this track as well. And drivers have got to have been mentally and physically prepared for tonight. If they're not mentally and physically prepared, they're going to struggle, and they could end up spinning coming through turn number 1. Judging by the amount of cars we're seeing leaving the pit lane, though, Mike, it looks like we're going to have a dry race as well.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And obviously that is something that all the drivers out there are going to be very thankful for, because, wet weather practice, no one likes to do it. They really do not. So I'm sure the drivers out there will be very pleased that it is going to remain dry, at least for the time being. We don't know what it's going to be in the race, but you never know. Spain could throw up a few surprises in terms of the weather.
Spain could throw up a few surprises indeed in terms of the weather. NLR Tim is the first man out on track. You might have seen Tim actually here last season in EML. He was, of course, part of the Outplayed Racing lineup that participated in the event last season before their closure. NLR Tim now, though, for Next Level Racing. He's been doing... For Next Level Racing? Never Last Racing. I will swear to God, I will get that right one day. Tim, though, is the first man out on track. He's been going actually really good guns. Legacy Division, of course, he's had a race there. Also in PSF1 this season, PSGL. So Tim, definitely good in terms of his qualifying on Monday. Whether or not he can transpire that into good form here remains to be seen. But he is the first man out on track, and he's the first man that we're going to see onto a run. And Tim, of course, as I say, PSF1 driver, WR Legacy Division driver, former Outplayed Racing driver, big roll of CV that he's got on his shoulders coming in towards turn 12.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be interested to see what he's going to be able to do as he's coming around now to get himself underway here. And I'm a little bit behind on my game catcher. If you want to take us through a quick lap.
Yeah, no worries at all. NLR Tim on the run down in towards turn number 1. Jose Macho there has left the session, so hopefully we can get that rectified for him. Tim Mill coming through the right-hander of turn 1, through the left-hander now of turn number 2, then through the right-hander now of turn number 3, and running through very nicely indeed. Coming through the right-hander now of turn number 3, picking up a bit of grass there on the right-hand side, 21.3 in the first sector from Tim, lightning quick first sector already, and this is only, remember, a bank of that he is going to be setting at the start of the session. Now down in towards turn number 5 at Saya corner, and then in towards the left-handers of turn 6 and 7. He's going to get a bit of traffic actually coming through the chicane now of 7 and 8. He's got the AlphaTauri there just off to the right-hand side, and then he's got another car approaching, which is a Red Bull ahead of him, and that of course is one of the Esports man, but Tim has backed off his lap, or he will back off his lap because he's ran invalid through the middle sector, but he will try and get this lap time on the board. 49.7 in that middle sector. Will want to get the delta time on the board just to give him a bit of reference as to what he's going through for the rest of the session. Tim now coming through Bank Sabadell, turn number 12, then through 13, and he is rightfully backed off now coming into the pit lane. So Tim not going for a run. I think Lars Kramer is on a run through the first sector as well, just seeing if there's anybody else on a lap time to do. Sasha's on a lap. Marlon now going quickest though with the 1:10.8. We'll see what the Frenchman of Sasha can do now, running down the hill through turn 13 and in toward the right-hander turn 14 at New Holland Corner. On the run to the line comes Lars Kramer for WR, and he goes quickest. Sorry, Sasha even for Team Chasu goes quickest. Marlon in second. IRC Phil now coming top, and everyone in a 1:10.8, which is pretty much matching what they were setting in F2 earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. Immediately into the 110s. I was going to ask a question. Do you think anyone here capable of getting into the 9s, perhaps?
Oh, it'll be a push. It'll be a real push, I think, for a 1 and 9. I am going to bank pole position on a 1:10.3. As Belby goes quickest with a 10.7. Normally we see about 4/10 improvements around about that in terms of average going on to their second runs. So I would not be surprised if drivers do find about a 1:10.4, 1:10.3, that ballpark. Matteo could be that man though. The Italian now coming through the final corner, one of the youngest up-and-coming talents on PlayStation right now. Matteo on the run to line, and he proves that, and he obliterates everyone out of the water with that lap time. 1:10.6, already in the 0.6s, which is already, I believe, quicker than F2 pole position. So Matteo out on top, Belby second, Phil there in third. Very good lap time there from the Italian, and he looks the one to beat early on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm currently on board with CPI Igor coming through the final corner now. It was 50 flat in the middle sector. Let's see where it comes now as he crosses the line.
Not bad.
10.9 up to P6.
Yeah, not bad at all. The man, of course, who got put under so much pressure in terms of his Hungarian Grand Prix lap in Legacy Division. He did actually qualify CPI into Legacy Division for that as well. So Igor Jelin has already got very good form as it comes to that. That's also, by the way, was coming to the line as well. He has popped himself into 11th position with a 1:11.110. I wish there was another one on the end, because that would have been very much symmetrical to the Frenchman's time there in 11th position. But it's Matteo out on top, Belby there in second, Phil there in third. Evil saying in the chat, Slipstream is allowed. Yes, it is. Slipstream, unlike other team events that you might have seen, Slipstream here is allowed, and that can gain, Mike, quite a lot of time, especially down the straight, probably around 3 or 4/10, as Haribo goes for a bit of a sugar run, coming through the left-hand return 6 there, nearly spinning the car and invalidating his lap.
Yeah, I mean, I believe Haribo actually has invalidated his lap, as unfortunate for him, session over and done with for him. We got Tim about to start a lap as well for Neverlast Racing. But yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, that Slipstream down at the start and finish straight in towards turn number 1 can gain you a decent amount of time, especially if you're able to carry it lovely through turns 1, 2, and obviously carry the momentum.
Tim invalid again.
Tim finding it difficult out there, I think, with the track limits at the moment.
Yeah, I find it really tough. It's a shame, because Tim has got a very good lap time on the board. Of course, in PSF1 qualifying on Monday, I think he was 4th, if I'm not mistaken, in qualifying. I might be wrong on that, but he was certainly towards the top end of the field. So Tim has definitely improved his qualifying. It's the race where he seems to struggle. This time around, though, in EML, it's now, it seems to me, certainly in the early stages of qualifying here in Spain, he's struggling in qualifying. Will he struggle in the race, though? Will he flip that mentality, potentially, to work in his favour? Enelor Nuth there in the chat. That is a big name to go home about, supporting Next Level Racing, Neverlast Racing. I will get it right. I swear to God I will get it right. Matteo out on top, Belby second, Phil there in third, Nuth there in the chat saying hello there, hello to you. Holly saying Newt, and Absy saying Newt as well. I'm not sure what's going on with the Pingu references, but there we are. EML is back, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, absolutely. EML is back and back with a bang, as Matteo currently leads the way here in qualifying. 10.6, the time to beat. Guys, in the chat right now, I want to get your predictions. Who do you think is going to be the man that sits on pole position at the end of the session, and what do you think the times are going to be? Let us know in the chat.
Judging by what TF10 Dirk has said, a 0.4, a 0.3, a high 3, or a low 4 potentially is what Dirk is saying. Evil saying probably a 0.3 there as well. And Evil saying it is, if it's a perfect slip, it could be a low 3, could even be a 2 potentially. Could even be a 10.2 not exactly out of the question. Andreas, though, was on a lap time right now for X Esports, not to be confused with that social media platform, coming in toward the middle sector now, turn at number 10, and the 50.2 in the middle sector is there or thereabouts in the mid-pack, around about Darth FIFA, Jamie, that sort of area is where I'll be aiming for in terms of this lap time. Now through Bank Sabadell at turn at number 12. Molon currently cooking in 5th position even. He looks like he's on the run to the line and actually goes second, so good lap time from him. Apologies to NLR because I didn't realise that he's on a lap with that. Macho was on a lap time now, coming through the final corner as well, and he's absolutely flying that high 7th gear, coming through the final corner at New Holland, on the run to line, goes quickest to the Shazoo man, and it is Macho out on top, Mateo there in second, Molon there in third. 3 very good names, already familiar to EML viewers, already familiar in the sim racing community, and them are the top 3 right now.
Yeah, absolutely incredible lap there from Macho, pushing himself out into provisional pole position. Just over 9 minutes to go remaining
Phil
in the
looking
session.
good.
I mean, it's looking very tight as well. I mean, look at that gap from Macho all the way down to Tails in P10. Only 3 tenths separating them.
Oh, and Phil now makes it. What, top 4 separated by 500ths of a second that is now? IRT Phil into second position. Mateo there in third, Molon there in fourth. 600ths of a second I make that out as separating the top 4. Sasha improving as well. Or he just improved actually on a lap time there in 5th. Belby is improving on a lap through the first sector. Backy there going 7th as well. The former F1 Esports man. He got benched, however, in F1 Esports Challenges, unfortunately. Don't want to repeat that for him out on track certainly tonight. But Paul there in 7th position has had good form in Legacy Division this season as well for Team TF10. Miles Kramer on a lap right now as well in the Haas. He's now coming through the right-hander of Bank Sabadell at turn number 12. Nuke there saying in the chat, P4 for the quali merchant is basically pole. Marlon is doing a good job, just put it that way, as now that is CPI Jamie going 5th, and I think Belby improved as well, along with Skyline. Miles Kramer to the line, he does improve, but he doesn't improve his position down into 11th position because his time's coming in, and Belby comes out to the top with a 1:10.5. It's so difficult to keep up around this track. Danny Van Ruyten now on the run to the line as well for X Esports. He's improving on the run to the line, goes 11th, but Belby now out on top. Macho there in second, IRT in third. And that, Mike, is what I can definitely definitively say about EPL. That's the first time EPL have ever led a qualifying session in EML history.
It's absolutely incredible. I was on Bel's entire lap there, and he was only marginally up in the middle sector. So all that time gained was in the final sector for Bell.
It was, and Belby must obviously have very much low downforce coming through that middle sector. It is very much a big thing around this track where you've got to have the wings and the car basically set up to really work how you want it to. Tim coming through the first sector, definitely working the car better coming through the first sector now in toward the left-hander of Sayat corner and turn at number 5. Evil saying slip must be busted. I haven't actually seen anybody riding slipstream. Of people that we've been on board with on the camera angles anyways, I haven't seen anybody use a slipstream right now. Obviously, they must feel that it's obviously banned, which it's not. So drivers can utilise that up to good effect. And if it is banned, it's new news to me because it wasn't in the rules last season. But a 49.6 from NLR Tim. Tim is now cooking, but he runs wide coming out of turn number 10. Now in toward Bank Sabadell at turn number 12. Now through the bank corner at turn number 12. Then through the right-hander at turn 13. And in towards New Holland at turn 14. Can the Dutchman, who I called an Austrian, by the way, on the stream on Monday. Tim, the Dutchman, now on the run to line. Does he go quickest? Yes, he does. 1:10.541. 500ths of a second ahead of Belby. But just look at this, Mike. 1st to 12th is covered by less than 2/10 of a second.
Absolutely incredible. This is what we want to see. All these drivers absolutely putting everything out there on track, and my God, is making for some interesting visuals for us to keep an eye on by here. Because of course it is. It's incredible stuff.
But was that a voice crack? Even though you're getting more excited with that.
Absolutely, and it was a very good voice crack as well.
I like it. I like it. There'll be plenty more where that came from, that is for sure. Backy, by the way, there in 14th position. He's just about to start up on a lap time right now. Molon, I think, however, is on a lap time coming through the first sector. He's a 10th down through the first sector, so a little bit off on his last lap time. 21.4 through that first sector, 10.682. 3,000 of a second to gain on Mateo. 12,000 of a second to gain an IRT Phil. That is how close we are talking about, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of EML PSF1 this season. And it's a good job because qualifying, if we had qualifying for EML this season, God knows who could have made it into EML this season. Marlon in the middle sector, though, picks it up and actually set it to purple middle sector. Again, out of everyone, but Tim, remember, was a 49.6 in that middle sector. Marlon 49.8, so in fact, he's 2/10 down on what Tim was setting in that middle sector. Now coming through the right-hand return 13, in towards the right-hand return number 14. Is Analog going to try and make it a 1-2 here? Marlon now flying toward the line, and he does make it a 1-2. Great lap for Marlon. Goes second. Analog cooking. Harley mentioned on social media earlier on that they're coming for their first EML title. Now they are. They're 1-2 in qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, with the EML history that Neverlast Racing do have, of course, they, off the top of my head, I know they won the old League 2 title way back in the day, and I can't remember, did they win League 1 as well? I can't quite remember off the top of my head they won League 1.
I thought they did, but Harley obviously mentioned that, obviously thinks he didn't. I thought they won in Season 4 when Alex the G was alongside me in the commentary box.
Positive they might have won a... I know they definitely won League 2, because it was heartbreak for me that season, but I'm positive they won another one as well.
I'm positive they won another one as well. Team TF10, by the way, utilising that slipstream up to good effect. That was well timed actually by Baki, who did improve on his lap time, didn't improve his position though in 14th. Skydown there in 12th has got the benefit of that slipstream coming through the first sector. Should be a 21.2 in the first sector. Oh, he's down on the first sector. 21.3 in that first sector. Harley mentioned he won Tier 2, but never Tier 1. Second it was, because they got beat off Team Shazoo that season. That's the one I'm thinking of. Skyline there in 12th position behind Tales. Tales there, a man who, of course, is familiar to PSGL viewers as well. He improved a 10th of a second there on that lap time. 10.7 for him, the Brazilian. Skyline now coming through the right-hander now, turn number 9, into the left-hander, turn number 10. But it seems like Skyline has backed off somewhere in the middle sector. Obviously made a mistake, which we did not see on the stream. But it's Tim out on top, Marlon second there, Bell be there in third. May's correcting me in the Discord as well, saying only the old League 2, which was an assist tier. They've never won a no assist tier, though, of NLR.
Unfortunately, Discord did cut out a little bit on my end for you there, but I know it didn't cut out on the stream, but hopefully it was all good. I was just on board with Tails, who just went off at turn 10, building some sandcastles right now in the gravel pit.
And we get a 5-second penalty for an illegal blocking, and there he is, actually. Tales has been right on ball with him, cutting the inside of the track. Danny Van Ruyten picking up a 5-second penalty for illegal blocking. I think that's down the middle sector in towards turn number 10. Where he is picking that up, the Red Bull. Yeah, he's going very slow compared to the Alpine. He's just sped it up a little bit now, but we are going to get a mandatory restart, which means we've got an intermission screen ready at the helm. Igor Jelen on lap time right now for CPI. Baki there retiring, I think, in the pit lane, so that is him done out of tonight's session as well. But Igor Jelen, let's see what he's going to do in terms of his lap time through the middle sector. 900's down, so CPI not improving with Igor Jelen. Jamie there in 8th position as well, the PSGL F4 man back in the day as well. And actually, he's going to get a bit of slip, it seems, going on to his lap, because Igor Jelen recognises that he's down, may as well give slip to Jamie.
Yeah, absolutely, and this could be big for Jamie's lap as Igor comes to the line now. Has he found anything in the final sector?
No.
He did find a little bit, but not enough to improve on his time. And look at this toe that Jamie's getting now.
It's a fantastic toe as well. Very similar. Oh, as he nearly crashes, actually, into a car coming out of the pit lane. I think that might have been Skyline coming out of the pit lane. Just on the right-hand side. Almost made contact with him. Good job he didn't. Otherwise, there would have been front wing damage there. Matteo is improving by 100th of a second through the middle sector. We'll see what he can now do coming through the right-hander at turn 13. Through the right-hander now at turn number 14. Tim Marlon Belby currently out on top. Marlon now on the... Matteo on the run to the line. Big final sector from him. 110.539. He's giving slipstream to his teammate as well. ET8 are absolutely cooking with Matteo. As I say, one of the hottest young prospects coming through on sim racing right now, this man. He's there on top, as Haribo was being disqualified for being parked in a dangerous location. And that, I think, is coming through the middle sector.
Yeah, it does appear so. As yeah, that's a bizarre one. I'm still on board with Jamie. Nearly 2 times up in the middle sector as he comes to the line now for the final corner. GRS wide open. To the line will come CPI. Jamie
wow.
pole position with a 10.503. Oh,
no. Macho finding no. It is absolutely action-packed, this qualifying session. Macho is finding. Is he finding enough time though to go quickest? No, he goes 5th in the end. Marlon improving 600ths up in the first sector for NLR Marlon. Looking good. Tim as well in the lap time right now, just ahead of him. So we'll run a ball with the two NLR boys, and we'll see what Sergio's going to do on his lap time as well, as he now comes through into the final corner. 600ths down through the middle sector. Now on the run line comes Sergio. Doesn't find time. He stays there in 8th position. Macho there down on a lap time. Marlon through the middle sector. 400ths up. Tim through the middle sector. Didn't quite catch what his middle sector was, but he's looking good as well. Coming out through the middle sector. In towards Bank Sabadell at turn 12. In towards the right-hander now at turns 13 and 14. Tim and Marlon ideally are the only ones that can actually really interfere with pole position. Tim first up on the run to line. Does he go quickest? No. Marlon, does he go quickest? No, but he doesn't even improve in the end, does Marlon. Macho there backing off a lap time. Skyline is 4 tenths down. Lars Kramer's coming back in the pit lane. Andreas has done as well. That is the end of qualifying, and it is CPI Jamie out on top. The PSGLF 4-man on top, for Matteo there in second, Tim there in third. That pole position led to one thing and one thing only: slipstream and team tactics.
Absolutely, and what's called our first sector split. When our slipstream came in, the first sector gain that Jamie had was 2 tenths. He was able to maintain that over the course of the entire lap, which is absolutely incredible for CPI. Jamie on pole position. My God, we are in for an incredible race. Look how many drivers are in the 0.5s as well.
Marlon, by the way, saying in Discord, this was about 5 minutes before the session actually ended. Who cares about the times, is what Marlon said. He's 4th, and he was saying that to an RCR driver who's there down in 16th position. So I think there's a little bit of skullduggery going on there from the German there in 4th. But it is CPI Jamie there out on top, from Matteo there in 2nd, Tim there in 3rd, Marlon 4th, Macho 5th, Belbelby 6th, 900ths of a second, covering the top 6. Absolutely mental from this sort of standard. Phil there in 7th. He led at one point in that qualifying session. Sergio there in 8th. Igor Jelen in 9th. Sasha there in the top 10. He was in P3 at one stage in that qualifying session. Tales there in 11th. Skyline in 12th. Lars Kramer there in 13th. And Danny Van Ruyten in 14th. Baki there in 15th. Matt Zozo in 16th. Dolph FIFA 17th. Then a bit of a jump down to Smalley there in 18th. And then Andreas in 19th. But 6.5 tenths of a second covering the drivers out on track. Haribil there getting disqualified. Of course, whether or not the stewards will actually feel that his time will be put in, basically, remains to be seen. We, however, are going to go on to an intermission break. I'm going to grab a drink. You can grab some popcorn and get at the ready as well. We are going to be having that mandatory restart, and we'll be back with you in a few minutes.
The slipstream was oh.
Welcome back, everyone, to League Racing TV. Welcome back to Esports Masters League. We are here tonight for round number 1. It's PSF1. Myself, James Head, and Mr. Singing Mike alongside me in the commentary box. You might have heard him for about 5 seconds on the stream. I swear to God, it was not intentional. Maybe it was.
Right.
But we are going to have a fantastic race. I'm absolutely sure of it. And that qualifying session threw up a bit of a shock. CPI Jamie being the man out on top, Matteo in behind him. Very good strategy call there from CPI with the slipstream, getting apparently off put as well, coming through the first sector. Very difficult for a driver to be off put, but still go top by 300ths of a second. Very impressive from the CPI man.
Yeah, absolutely incredible from Jimmy to not let that cloud the rest of his lap, because it's very easy if you get put off in one corner to keep thinking about it for like the next corner, and it just puts you off. But incredible lap time from Jamie. The top 6 separated by less than a tenth of a second, and I'm not gonna lie, the top 16 all in the 110s. Incredible from them all. And obviously, Darth FIFA and Smalley Balls were 11 flat, and Andreas was 11-1. So they very nearly got into the 10. So we are in for a very competitive race now, I think, James.
Yeah, we are indeed in for a competitive race here tonight as well in Spain. But something that we haven't actually alluded to coming into tonight is, of course, the all-important calendar. You might have seen this in the Discord. If you haven't, this is the first time you've seen it. Well, welcome along, because this is the PS Championship, and this is the calendar for the PS Championship. Of course, we were due to have, Britain for qualifiers. Inevitably, a team dropped out. I think it was G League that dropped out, if I'm not mistaken. And now we've got both. Tiers undecided by the qualifiers. So it is the Spanish Grand Prix round 1. Then we're off to Monza round 2, which, to be honest, in my Saturday race I didn't do quite well at. So I'm not gonna flag about how I won around there the season before. Hungary in for round 3. Igor Jelen will be happy that that is on the calendar. Mexico for round 4, and then Texas for round 5, and then of course break week because of Easter, and hopefully everyone gets filled up with cream eggs for then. Then it's Azerbaijan round 6, which, if you watched Legacy Division last night, not fun. Not fun at all. Do not tune in for Baku, because it's going to be absolute hell on earth for us in the commentary box. Bahrain for round 7 the week after. Then it's Jeddah for round 8 in Saudi Arabia. Singapore for round 9 on the 24th of April. And then on the 10th of round 10 even, if I can get my words out correctly, it is the 1st of May, of course, for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Of course, F2 and F1 on the same night, F2 at 7 p.m, F1 at 8 p.m. as well. And looking through that calendar, Mike, I know we touched on it, of course, in the launch show that we had, which if you didn't watch, don't go and watch it back because we're now on round 1. But looking at that calendar, fantastic, I think, to have the likes of Spain, the likes of Monza, but also the likes of the tracks that people might have not necessarily have done, like Baku.
Yeah, and Baku is just, it's one of those circuits where you can either have an absolute thriller or you can have an absolute disaster, because that castle section is so unforgiving, and it can end a race in a second, and it could save your race in a second as well. So it's one of those little sequences of corners around a circuit that just so unpredictable. But honestly, in terms of the tracks I'm looking forward to, Singapore is up there for me.
Singapore's definitely up there for me as well. Lesty, by the way, in the chat, who I think has done solo commentary for F2, so well done, Lesty, on that one. He's coming into the chat. Let's go F1, my voice is done after that F2 race. You've still got another 9 left, my friend. You've still got another 9 left, so hopefully that voice is going to hold before the end of the season is out, because Cameron was due to be alongside him. Cameron didn't make it, so obviously he's going to get a slap on the wrist by me if Cameron is watching the stream. He's definitely getting a few words being said from behind the scenes. But Leslie did a fantastic job in F2. I tuned in for that for around about 20 minutes, and the start of the race was really, really good. The whole race, I think, was really, really good as well. And F2 definitely delivered. You've now got the best seats in the house if you're just tuning in now from F2. It is a Spanish Grand Prix, and from the face of it, judging by our camera screen, it is beautiful blue skies and sunshine, and judging by how everyone went in qualifying, we're in for a dry race.
Yeah, and of course, that is what all these drivers will absolutely love to see. Nice dry race, no variations in the strategy. And of course, in terms of the strategy, James, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I've seen people run softs around you. Generally, we don't like seeing softs around you, because it's one of those tracks where the softs just, they go quite quickly. But, I mean, will we see anyone on softs tonight? I don't know.
Baz Bramer certainly thinks so. He's just came in the comment section and saying, watch a lot of softs at the start. So he obviously knows something that we potentially might not here in the commentary box. If it is going to rain later on the race, that might be the case. Oh, the pit board, the pit lanes just changed. It's all gone like grey and black for me. That's really strange.
Oh, I mean...
I mean, it is an F1 game after all.
Yeah, that is true. We can confirm it is an F1 game, and sometimes these things happen. But of course, the compounds that these guys will be using here tonight: the C3 softs, the C2 mediums, and the C1 hard compound tires. And in terms of their lifespan, there's not much of a lifespan between the hards and the mediums. So I mean, generally, we used to seeing hard medium as the race strategy to go with. But I mean, softs. Are we? I mean, potentially, maybe softs to start.
Judging by how the tyre wear, I think, will go in this race, I would not be surprised if a majority of drivers opt for a 2-stop strategy. I think they could go softs, mediums throughout this race, because of course you do get a 2 set of medium compounder tyres. If you're to do a 2-stop strategy, you only get 1 set of softs basically in the race, and that could even be your used set if you've used all of them up in qualifying. So if you don't get that used set of compounder tyre, you're on a fresh set of softs, you are absolutely laughing, and then you can transition to a set of mediums. I would say drivers, if they are opting for a set of softs at the start, probably around about lap 7, lap 8, I would expect them to come into the pit lane just to try and negate any undercut strategy from behind, and then try and fly forward on the mediums, do 12 laps, do 13, 14 laps on the mediums, 13, 14 laps again on the mediums, get to the end of the race, the tyres will probably be around about 60% by the end of the race on that set of medium compounder tyre. If anybody wants to go 1 stop around here, I think hards mediums is probably the safer bet. Hards, you can get until around about lap 18, lap 19. Mediums, you can try and last out. Obviously, with it being a 35-lap race, you can obviously last that out until around about the end of the race, where it's about 70% tyre wear. at the end of the race as well. The PSGL race is anything to go by around here from last season. Certainly going to be in for an absolute treat. But I want to know in the comment section who you think is going to win this race here in EML F1 tonight, in PSF1. Who do you think is going to win? I'm immediately going to ask Mike, instead of me predicting it myself. Mike, who do you think is going to win?
Now here we go. This is where I'm either Mystic Mike or don't have a clue. But
never mind. 5 red lights are about to go out to you, of course, in Spain. Round number 1 of EML Season 6 is underway, and Jamie gets a great start. Matteo alongside him will get a good start as well, but he will have to try and jump into the slipstream, running down in towards turn number 1, and Jamie is the one that will lead, but Matteo's got the inside line. Is he going to look for the inside line on that set of hard compound tyres? No. Tim there on third is on the set of softs, and he is already looking on the back. There's a driver off in the gravel there. I think that was Tales running wide in behind Belbelby and Macho are side by side, and they're 3 wide in towards turn number 4, and we nearly get a Rosberg-Hamilton sort of scenario with Tim and Matteo there. Matteo leads coming through turn number 4. Tim needs to get a move on, though, on that set of soft compound tyres. Both NLR drivers on the set of softs as the Ferrari there spins. CPI Jamie just loses it, I think, on the inside curb. Knocks into Matteo on the outside. He is round. CPI Jamie's gone from hero to zero, quite literally in the space of 30 seconds. Matteo now leads coming through the middle sector, though, from Tim in second. Belbelby there in third. Tales round at the back of the field as well. But Matteo there leads. Not for long, though, because here comes Tim to the outside line. In towards the right-hander, the left-hander now of turn number 10. Runs out wide, but he will have the inside line for Bank Sabadell at turn number 12. Tim trying to get the job done. Up on that set of soft compound tyres. He's through, and he's into the race lead. Matteo had to try and fight that as best as he can. Can't find a driver that's on a much fresher tyre. Tim through, and he's into the lead, and we're at the end of lap 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Tim doing a fantastic job on those soft tyres, getting through the field as quickly as possible. As Phil up in the P4 as well. Just to give you my top 3, it's obviously we got interrupted by the 5 red lights. My top 3 was actually going to be Matteo, Belbel, and Tim. That was actually going to be my top 3.
Interested, and now, obviously, with 2 of them being on the set of hards and Bell be dropping down the field, I think that has probably changed as Haribo and Jamie are in strife coming through turn number 3. We'll try and flick to them very quickly. Jamie turning the car around. Haribo's got the car back going again. Obviously slipped potentially on a cherry or potentially on a, I don't know, cola bottle, fizzy one, potentially. Yeah, tank-tastic. Tim there in lead, Matteo second, Phil in third. That's such a bad one, honestly. Phil there on the back of Matteo, though. He's looking to try and get the job done. Phil there, of course, a PSF2 driver this season. Matteo, PSF1 driver. So these two have met themselves out on track as Baki looks at the inside line there. Macho in towards the left-hander now. With turn number 11 in towards Bank Sabadell at turn number 12. Baki there on the inside line, trying to get the job done, but I think he made a mistake, and Macho flies back through at the end towards lap 2. Tim will lead the way. 5/10 of a second. Matteo is sticking within DRS range, which is very, very good for him. Phil there in third, Marlon there in fourth. They can just sit and relax and gain a little bit of ERS. We'll turn on the ERS around about halfway through the race just to see what drivers are looking at. Baki on the back of Macho and towards turn number 1, not looking quite close enough. But Mike, actually, top 5 right now. Macho just made a mistake again in towards turn number 1. Top 5 potentially have got at least, actually no, top 4 now have probably got a chance now to break away from Belbelby.
Yeah, I mean, Belbelby and, well, just losing out a little bit to Marlon up ahead, obviously, with the soft tyres being slightly more grippy, shall we say, at this moment in the race. But that won't last forever, of course. I mean, as mentioned, the softs are very quick, but they do wear out, and especially against the hards, they do wear out quick and fast, as you mentioned. Around about lap 8, I believe you mentioned about coming into the pits for that pit stop. But I mean, right now, Tim struggling to break away from Matteo, and if I'm Tim, I am probably trying to burn a bit of battery just to get clear right now.
Well, let's have a look at the battery usage actually early on lap 3 of 33, or as Gary Donegan will once say, 3 out of 33. Tim now coming through the final corner, leading the way. Matteo there in second, Phil there in third, Marlon there in fourth. Front foot are pulling away, Belbelby there in fifth. Seen on board with Phil right now. Phil's got 33% of ERS, running down in towards turn number 1. Looks for the move actually on Matteo, doesn't get the job done. Could now be under trouble, under pressure actually from Marlon. Marlon's got around about the same ERS as well, 35%. Phil on 33. Matteo on 52, which is crucial for him because he's got more ERS, and Tim's around the same percent as Matteo at 51. So, looking quite good right now for Phil. Phil there on the back there, and Matteo second and third position. Marlon there in fourth. Looking further down the field as well, drivers did start on a set of medium compounder tyres. They were Darth FIFA, Andreas, and Lars Kramer. Speaking of which, Lars Kramer has just been overtaken by Smalley there on the minimap in towards turn number 1. Danny Van Ruyten as well, also on a set of mediums, but Lars and Danny, I think, came into the pit lane after lap 1 strife. Jamie down at the back of the field as well. He's in even more strife, and he is getting a front wing change as well. So Jamie, from qualifying and pole position to P20 by the end of lap 4, CPI will not be happy with that.
No, absolutely not. The one saving grace for CPI at the moment is, of course, Igor currently up in P9 in the top 10. On the set of the hard compound tyres, going to be looking to try and make moves later on in this race. I can assure you of that. For Jamie, though, he needs a safety car. In fact, he's already a lap down, so the safety car might not help him too much now.
They won't, because he'll be a lap down. He will not be allowed, I think, to come back through either. There's Lars Kramer going for a spin there, coming through the left-hander of turn number 10. Lars Kramer, of course, a new signing for WR Esports, formerly, I think, with WR Esports before coming back into league racing. He's there down in 19th. Jamie, by the way, has let everyone go. Every single person has gone through, bar the battles that are still happening down the straight, Smalley, Danny and Lars. So Jamie, fantastic effort to get out of the way. Doesn't want to ruin everyone's race. Doesn't want to put himself in a bit of a goal situation and then get drivers going through them and then getting PG-18 for you guys that are under 16 there in the chat. Tim there leading the way for Matteo in second, Phil there in third, Marlon there in fourth. Let's have a look at the position gains, actually, in this race early on. We'll turn the telemetry off for now. 4 positions gained, though, from Phil. Obviously, on that to the soft. Backy's gained 8, and he's going to gain 9, potentially, because he's on the back of Macho, coming now down through Bank Sabadell at turns 12 and 13. Now, looking through as well, Andres has gained 6, Darth FIFA's gained 5, Matt Zolsel's gained 2, Haribo's gained 4 as well. And everyone is just intent, I think, to sit in the big old DRS room. Bar Sergio, who looks to the inside line now, in towards turn number 1. She'll get the job done. And that is job done easily there for the Aston Martin. Beautiful camera shot as we come aboard with them. And Sergio through, and he's into 7th. Easy as you like.
Yeah, and now we're starting to get to that phase in the race where you're starting to think that the soft tyres will begin to wear now. They should be around, I'm going to say slightly slower than the hards at this moment in the race. Right now, lap 6 of 33. Tim is still leading the way. Matteo did drop a little bit far off the back as Jamie's coming into the pits and retired from the session. So it is all over for Jamie in the back. But, I mean, he did get the first pole position of the season. And honestly, if I was Jamie, even if I was a lap down, I'd probably just stay out and just try and go for fastest lap at the end just to gain something from the race.
Yeah, I'd be really proud of that, to be honest. I know Jamie would have stuck it out there for sure, but you get into that phase where sometimes, obviously, you're right down at the back end of the field. You've got really no hope in sight from anyone ahead because there's not going to really be any incidents. As soon as I say this, though, Bell Belby's right on the back of Marlon, really hounding the back of the German. Down in towards turn number 1. Matteo coming for the race lead on the back of Tim as well. Is he going to go for the race lead, though? No. Bell Belby, though, to the outside line and towards turn number 1. And Marlon actually falls on the grass. And Marlon's there round. And that is Bell Belby nearly round as well. The Mercedes there, Macho having to take a board in action. Not on earth sure what happened there with Marlon. I can only think the way he was going down in towards turn number 1, it looked like he wasn't stopping. It honestly looked like his brakes were failing or something for him to get into that situation. Bell Belby didn't do anything wrong. He was on the outside line. And then, unfortunately for Marlon, he's just gone straight pretty much into Bell Belby, in towards turn number 1. Such a shame. Bell Belby there in 4th, capitalising on that. Marlon there down in 13th. It's almost as if, though, Marlon had no brakes in towards turn 1.
I was actually on board with Marlon there, and he got absolutely chewed up and spat out on that turn 1 curb. He took a little bit too much of the inside curb, and it just absolutely launched him. And that is the danger of turn number 1. If you take too much inside curb, it can bite you back. Yeah,
it can bite you back indeed. And unfortunately for Marlon, he's there down in 13th. He's another one that'd be hoping maybe a safety car will come. Igor Jelen, though, is now going to look for the move on Baki. Down in towards turn 1. Sergio now making it 3 wide, potentially down the straight on Bell Belby. In towards turn number 1. The Aston Martin does get the job done. That's what Marlon should have done last lap around. But Sergio through these intervals. Bell Belby there in 5th, and Bell Belby. The hot compound tyres definitely coming into play now. Even at this stage of the race. I did say lap 8 the tyres will fall off, and look where we are. Lap 8 out of 33, and already the tyres are falling off, even at this stage on a set of soft compounded tyre. Tim leading the way, Matteo there in 2nd, Phil there in 3rd. Not all doom and gloom, by the way, for NLR. Obviously, they've had that incident with Marlon. Tim, though, leading the way, controlling it out in front. Looking at his telemetry right now, 62% of ERS. Matteo's got 90, though. Matteo's got 90% of battery right now, out on track. Phil's got 41. I'm not sure who it was in the comment section saying Matteo's got this race. I would agree with you right now, judging by that battery usage.
Yeah, Matteo doing an absolute fantastic job right now of conserving his battery in the slipstream of Tim. But, I mean, right now, I mean, even if Tim and Phil were to dive into the pits this lap, he would still have Sergio, Bell, and that train all on the back of him with DRS. It's going to be a case of when he decides to go for this move on Tim, and it could be right now in towards turn number 1. And simple as you like, DRS, slipstream, move over, into the lead goes Matteo.
And Macho showing who's the macho man down in towards turn number 1 as well on Bell Belby. Bell Belby, though, trying to now come back on the muscle man there in 5th, but Macho there through, and he's into 5th. Bell Belby there in 6th. Igor Jelen there in 7th. I'm not sure if Macho is a bodybuilder or anything, but he is the macho man out on track. He's through and he's into 5th on Bell Belby, as Phil's looking on the back of Tim as well. Tim, all of a sudden, because he's been doing the hard work basically out in front, as Haribo there has retired. That is off track. Coming through the left-hander at turn number 3, I think he's got all that inside curb. I've done that in qualifying around here in League of Europe. He's off track, so it's not going to cause a safety car. Spins the car around on the inside of the curb. So Haribo out of the race. He's definitely not having a Tangplastic race out on track so far, and definitely not now with him DNFing. But Matteo leading the way, Tim in 2nd, Phil in 3rd. Back to my point with Tim. It's almost as if he's gone too hard on those tyres, and now he's beginning to pay for it. Phil has had the opportunity to save his tyres, and therefore he'll be on a fresher set of softs compared to Tim ahead.
Yeah, it seems like Tim, as you mentioned, pushed a little bit too hard early on. Obviously, not able to break away from Matteo as what he would like. But the good thing is that, he's actually going to try and go for the move. Matteo covers the inside line, and here goes Tim, trying to outbrake, and Phil's in there as well. Phil's gone deep.
Never going to work. That was Phil's fault, I think, to the inside line there. Just went so far deep into a turn 1. He's inside of Tim, and Tim's off, and Phil's off as well. And that's a VSC. VSC deployed out on track. That all led as Phil gets a 5-second penalty for a severe collision with Tim. I think that's right, to be honest there. He's got right side end plate damage on the car, as you can see. I don't know what on earth happened there, and I don't know why on earth they were thinking of going 3 wide into turn number 1. If I'm a steward right now, I'd be looking at that very much frame by frame and seeing who was at fault. I was on board with Phil there for the camera angle, and he went so far deep in towards turn number 1, forced Tim off track. Tim is now out of the race as a result. Phil then has got dirty tyres as a result. He's then gone into the side of Tim. Tim is out of the race. Phil isn't. So for me, if I was a steward, IRT potentially have got the fault to blame. But there could have easily been... he could have easily just stayed in behind Phil. He should have, because Matteo was going so slow ahead of him. He was at the part in the Red Sea right in the middle. He avoided everything, and now he's in the race lead and back on with an ET8 now 1-2.
Yeah, Matteo there showing a bit of patience and just staying out of trouble. And look where it can get you. It can get you through as everyone crashes out around you. As Darth FIFA with a drive-through for speeding into the virtual safety car on the restart lap 11. And Skyline gets through on Baki, so a change it for the Alpha Tauris.
Sasha as well, looking on the back of Baki, looking too much on the back of Baki. Getting a little bit aggressive out on track. Hopefully the drivers can keep it together. Baki, by the way, did take to the escape road there through turn number 1 and 2 on the inside where the MotoGP cut-through is, basically. Baki there in 8, Dolph FIFA there in 9. Dolph FIFA, all of a sudden, he has got that drive-through penalty for speeding on the VSC. I think Andreas also picked up that as well. Yes, he did. Andreas has also got a drive-through penalty as well. So both of them in 9th and 10th. Obviously, with how Sasha and Baki were going ahead, obviously they slowed up. Dot FIFA and Andreas probably had a different delta time. They were probably just over that delta time. Therefore, they get the 3-second penalty. So, It's a bit like that TV show in America where you get a one, you get a one, you get a one, you get a drive through, you get a drive through. It's pretty much like that at this stage. Lap 11 out of 33, one third of the race gone. Mateo leads the way, Sergio in second, Macho there in third, Belbelby in fourth, with Igor Jelen there in fifth. Skyline sixth, then Sasha in seventh, Baki there in eighth, FIFA there in ninth. No longer though, because he's into the pit lane along with Andreas. So it'll be Matt Zoso then in ninth, Marlon there in 10th. Marlon's into the pit lane as well, so he's going to come for a fresh set of tyres, it seems. Tales, Lars Kramer, Phil, Danny Reuter, and Smalley, top 17. Mateo through, still in the lead of the race. Sergio in second. Macho, though, was looking very close there on the back of the Aston Martin.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful little switchback. Macho was trying to pull off here through turn 3, but unable to do so. Macho was trying around the outside into turn 1. He barely had 2 wheels on the track, so not all the room in the world to work with, but Macho was able to get through there and let's go, keep it within track limits, fortunately, and no contact made with Sergio. This is absolutely fantastic battling right now for P2 in this race.
Tib, by the way, correcting me and saying it was the Oprah show. I honestly thought it was the Trisha Goddard show, but that's me showing my age there by saying that on stream. Mateo there leading the way, Sergio in second, Match on third. If you want to look up the Trisha Goddard show, don't. Yeah, don't. It's one of them. It's a bit like Oprah. That's all I'm going to say. Mateo there leading the way. Sergio second, Macho there in third. Joe's on a set of hard compounded tyres, obviously, can continue on until around about the halfway stage, and then they can think about coming in for a pit stop. Baki, however, is stretching out his tyres. He's obviously had that under the VSC. He's sticking still on the back of Sasha. He may as well stick on there on the back of Sasha, because he's there within the slipstream range. Macho there looking on the back of Sergio into turn number 1, not happening. But Baki there in 8th position. As long as he stays on the back of these guys and doesn't actually lose it coming through the corners and lose that second gap, Baki has got to fight with that. And obviously with them saving up the tyres as well, those set of hard compounded tyres, they come in at the halfway stage, then come in for a set of mediums. Baki could well and truly get those tyres till that point of the race as well, and he could follow the same strategy, and arguably he'd be the quicker man on track.
Absolutely, and you've got to think Baki will go for the undercut as well, obviously pitting just a little bit earlier. His tyres will be more worn at the end of the race, but Baki right now does look like he is trying to stretch his softs out all the way to the mediums, which will be a fantastic bit of strategy if he's able to pull it off. Right now he's in the DRS train here in the top 8. Then we got a big old 9.3 second gap back to Matt Zozo, and Dale's battling at the tail end of the top 10 here for 9th and 10th. And then we got another 7-second gap back to FIFA after the drive-through penalty, him and Andreas in 11th and 12th. And then the rest of the field pretty spread out then, James.
Yeah, but Bobby looking on the back of Macho, Skyline looking on the back of Igor Jelen, looking to try and get... Yeah, looking to try and get one of them Nissan-shaped rear wings, potentially on the AlphaTauri as the Skyline. That's another bad pun. Skyline on the back of Igor Jelen, coming to the right-hander of turn number 3. And he's actually going to look for them to move in towards turn number 4. Looks for the outside line. Igor Jelen's been done like a kipper, potentially, around the outside of turn number 4. And Skyline surely going to get the job done in towards Sayat corner. That is marvellous racing there from the TF10 man. He doesn't need a Nissan to get that job done. The AlphaTauri through and he's into 5th. Igor Jelen down to 6th. Igor Jelen has just been done like an Hungarian dish that I can't pronounce.
That was absolutely incredible mind games from Skyline as well, because he sold him the dummy, he went to the inside, switched back to the outside, sent him sailing around the outside, and that was incredible from Skyline. Up into P5 now as he looks at the back of Bell.
Yeah, pick your moves and choose, I think, is probably the mantra that we're going for in the top 8 right now, and Skyline picked his move. Obviously saw that Igor Jelen broke so early into the corner. I think Igor was probably under the impression that he was a lot closer than what he was. He wasn't. Igor Jelen was on the inside line, gave him a lot of room, and in the end, he just broke too early for the corner. Skyline broke late for the corner, absolutely on par, and got the move done. Simple as that. Skyline through and he's into 5th. Igor Jelen there in 6th. Matt's also there under pressure from Tales running down the straight as well. Looking through the chat there as well, May saying like a kipper. And now I see Frank coming in about Phil, which is exactly what we saw actually on stream about it. I thought he lost it by himself. Not sure if that might come up on a replay or something. We don't have replay, sadly, on the stream tonight. But in terms of the incident there, I think Phil spun by himself, and then Tim was just wrong place, wrong time. He was recovering on track as a result. He was just wrong place, wrong time. They've got caught in each other. He's got a 5-second penalty, which he's served now in the pit lane. Lots of Kramer's behind him now out on track. So for Phil, very unfortunate. For Tim, you've got to really feel sorry because Tim was right up there, right up until they went 3-1 to turn 1.
Yeah, absolutely. And that incident for sure will be investigated by the stewards, and we will find out everything that went on in that corner. But right now, Bell over the back of Macho. Macho's all over the back of Sergio.
Backy's in.
And you got Skyline all over the back of Bell as well. This could potentially lead to some squabbles in towards turn 3 if they elect to use the ERS, which I don't think they are as it currently stands.
No, and Backy, I think, has picked and choose the right lap to come in, actually, because he's into the pit lane. Set of medium compound tyres will go on. The F1 Esports Challengers man will get those tyres to the end of the race. I can guarantee you this now. And Backy is going to come out, maybe side by side with Marlon, but he is going to be in clear air. And he's got Marlon, who is there just alongside him in towards turn 1. And he's got him just ahead within a second. That is beautiful for Backy for TF10. And because we've got 2 Aston Martins and 2 Mercedes in the top 7 right now, drivers and teams have got to pick and choose what driver comes in first. If I was in ET8 shoes, I'd put in Matteo first. And if I was in the Mercedes shoes of Team Shazoo, I'd put in Macho first because of the track position and because they are carrying a bit better pace right now compared to their teammates. Matteo leading the way, Sergio there in second, Macho there in third. But because everyone on that sort of hard compound tyres still has to come in, Backy's got the potential chance of getting a big undercut. There is Sergio into the pit lane. Comes to show what I know. Macho stays out. Sasha's into the pit lane as well. So literally what I said has not happened.
Well, I mean, they obviously understand the threat of Backy with this undercut, and they want to cover him off immediately. Backy, as you mentioned, within that 1 second now of Marlon ahead, so we'll have the benefit of DRS down the start-finish straight. Let's see where these guys come out relative to Backy, who I believe is on his way down the start-finish straight right now. So let's see if this one lap undercut has worked to perfection. They all pile up the pits right now, and yeah, as you mentioned, in the middle he goes as Marlon and Bell there side by side momentarily through turn number 1.
Marlon getting the big undercut on Belby. Belby now running out wide with that dirty air. Backy could have him down in towards turn number 4, but he's not quite close enough. Oh, actually he does! Towards turn number 4, Belby on the back of Marlon, trying to fight on those fresher tyres. Those fresher tyres will be up to standard when we get towards lap 7, when we get to turn 7 and 8. There's a yellow flag out on track, and that is Smalley round coming through the left-hander of turn number 2. So he's got caught, I think, on that outside curb potentially there. Backy on the back of Belby, giving him something to think about. Marlon well and truly giving these something to think about. And Matteo and Macho now potentially in trouble. Because if that's where Backy has came out in relation to these guys, goodness knows where Matteo and Macho's going to come out in all of this. I think they are both going to be right in the middle. I would not be surprised if they're in that gap between Backy and Skyline when they come out the pits. Leonardo, by the way, in the chat saying he was in challenges, but he did get benched. I did say that earlier on in the session, but he claims to be. He was an F1 Esports Challengers man. So it's him to blame, not me.
As Matteo and Macho coming out the pits right now. This is going to be close as they got the overspeed heading down in towards turn number 1.
God.
In fact, I think Matteo's actually done a fabulous job here. And oh my God. Macho, Marlon and Backy, they're so close.
How?
Too close for comfort there. But fair play, they all managed to get through here as Bell gets through on Andreas. Andreas needs to come into the pits. Yeah,
I feel sorry for Andreas right now. Andreas is going to be absolutely chopped up. Like, I don't know what, maybe kidney going into a state pie. Andreas there under pressure for Marlon. Marlon on the back there in 7th. Macho there in 8th. And Skyline there in 9th. And they're side by side in towards turn number 7 and 8. Andreas going slow in front of them as well. Could give the box in. The AlphaTauri, that's not going to work. That is not going to work. The AlphaTauri's got rear wing damage for sure. There's a bit of front wing carbon fibre flying off as well. I think that was Sasha's wing that was flying off, if I'm not mistaken. He's now dropped behind Igor Jelen. It's all getting very messy out on track. But the question that I want to pose to you, Mike, how the hell is Matteo still in the net lead of this race? Absolutely blinding strategy pulled off by ET8.
Absolutely incredible stuff from the ET8 drivers. I mean, Matteo done a fantastic in-lap there to hold on to the race lead. But again, I think it comes down to just a little bit of battling. We saw, yep, we got the swap now, Sergio into the net race lead. I think what we saw there was just a little bit of battling, which just allowed Matteo just to hold on to that race lead. That's why I believe.
Yeah, and Macho, unfortunately, is all the way down the field now. Where is Macho, actually? I can't see it. Oh, there he's in 7th. I couldn't see him. I thought he was further down the field, but it's not. It's Sasha that picked up that front wing damage. Scarline as well with that rear wing damage. Would not be surprised at all if he's got rear wing damage, and that is going to force him out of the race. It looks like he's going to come into the pit lane. Fresh of the mediums going on, and he is going to go out. So I wonder if he has got away with that rear wing damage. If it is, it's very, very light and minimal. But because he's around 0-1, he may as well try and continue on to points. Macho, though, on the back of Marlon. This is a battle I've loved to see in the past. And Macho to the inside line, getting the job done. Easy as you like. Marlon dropping through the field, though. That tyre strategy, however good it might have worked, definitely not the one to go on. And if NLR, honestly, are trusting me in terms of a strategy on the stream, yeah, do not play my game, put it this way, because hold on, if NLR have opted for the strategy themselves, and they haven't actually gone through me, as that Skyline has spun now, coming through turn number 4, so he's definitely got rear wing damage, coming now through the right-hand of turn number 4, Igor Jella now passing Marlon. Marlon is surely not following the James Head strategy around here, is he?
I mean, surely not, but I mean, I think he might have thought, you know what, if I get a nice undercut here, I can be right back in it, but yeah, I mean, right now his tyres are just so much more worn compared to everyone else's. Same with Phil as well. But Phil obviously not in this top 8 train. He is around about 11 seconds off the back of Marlon as it currently stands. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, Marlon's got a long way to go. If he can just hold on, I think that's the best he can do right now is hold on. Because if he comes into the pits, granted, he'll have fresh tyres so he can close back up, but he's just going to be so far behind that he's not going to get any higher than where he is right now.
Yeah, definitely not. And Dirk there saying in the chat as well, Dirk saying Macho gave us rear wing damage, and that's with Skyline. Tim there has left the session. He's already out of the race, so he is gone. Tyler's leading the way, though. He could go on and set us off compound tyres towards the end of the race, but I think his play is to hold up Sergio and Matteo and get Bell Belby in the front of this race and then try and get Bell Belby pulling away. And speaking of the man, he's on the back of Matteo, he's on the back of Sergio, rinse and repeat in towards turn number 1. Bell Belby backs off though and towards turn number 1. Ite nearly have a bit of coming together actually between both their drivers. Backy's round in the background though, there's Igor Jelen just about getting away with that as well. Him and Igor Jelen side by side into turn number 1. Backy there spinning, coming through the right-hander. Team TF10 are going to be absolutely livid. Dirk is going to be doing God know what at his screen. Bell Belby nearly gets a bit of contact from Sergio as well, and he's just trying to force the moves. Stay calm. Stay calm. If I'm a betting man right now, I'd rather have Matteo for the race win or Macho for the race win, because it seems like Sergio and Bell Belby want to go 12 bells out of each other and go into WWE 2K24.
Yeah, and what we got right now, I mean, you have Bell right now, obviously trying to put the pressure on Sergio, but these guys are rapidly closing up their tails, and Tails right now, I think, potentially is going to be doing the EPL back him up and try and get Bell through. In fact, no, he's not. He's into the pits. Never mind. I absolutely know nothing.
You know nothing. Yeah, I thought he was actually going to hold up for another couple of laps, but if the tyres go, the tyres go. There was a yellow flag as well. I think that's Skyline running around a lap down. He's going to get a little bit of slipstream, actually, for his teammate there. Beautiful helicopter cam running down towards turn number 1, on board with Bell Belby. Matteo there leading the way. Sergio there in second. Bell Belby there in third. Macho fourth. Igor Jelen in fifth. Marlon there in sixth. With how many incidents that have been in this race, which is really unfortunate because I want to give you guys and the viewers the best possible action out on track. Let's just be frank here. We're 2/3 of the way through the race, and we've seen about as many incidents as what we did last season in Las Vegas in a whole entire race around there. And this is round 1. This will be, for me, at least very concerning, because if there's an amount of incidents coming out of this race in Spain, and they think they can get away with it, they can't. The EML stewards are probably one of the harshest steward teams ever, I think, within team events. And I think that's a good thing, because obviously incidents like this need to get punished in the right way. They need to get punished in a fair way as well. And they need to get punished in a way where you guys as the viewers want to see the best action week in, week out. That's what we want to see in the comment box. That's what you guys want to see at home. And that's what these guys want to do out on track.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, for a lot of these guys, they do race each other on a regular as well, so they know how each other drive, but obviously it's that added pressure of representing an esports team as well. Like, that just comes with it. And obviously, you know, sometimes, cooler heads prevail, and obviously, Matteo right now, we've got a very cool head on him and leading the way, and it's absolutely looked incredible throughout this entire race. And honestly, Massive shout out to Matteo. That's all I'm going to say right now.
What did I say earlier on about Matteo, by the way, Mike? Can you remember? I
I
mean, I've
am
said a lot of
merely
things.
I am merely a man. I do not remember much.
One of the hottest talents coming through on PlayStation is what I said about Matteo, and I've actually said this to him in DMs as well on Monday, just before PSGL. He is honestly like Cameron Dowds, I think, as another yellow flag that is Skyline, I think, round again coming through turn number 4, still continuing on. When you've got rear wing damage, I think you should just come in and retire the car. You will get 17th position there down, but I think he wants to go for that point. As I say, every single point is there. Sergio now backing off on Matteo means me to think Matteo's now beginning to pull away out in front. 8 tenths of a second the gap. He's got that lap fresher tyres underneath him. And as I say, I hold him in the highest regard. As to Cameron Dowds, probably one of probably the best up and coming talent on console. Even though we forgot to sign up for PSGL, PSF1 this season, Matteo didn't. Matteo, of course, did a very good race in Australia for round 1, and Matteo obviously is very, very good. He has really grown, I think, as this game has got worse and as drivers fall away by the wayside. Matteo has only improved, and Matteo for now, 710's clear. Sergio there in second, being used as the guinea pig for ET8. Belby there in third. ET8 are in perfect control of this race right now. Matteo's in perfect control of this race because if we look on the battery, he's got 93% compared to Sergio on 82 and Belby's on 39. ET8, I don't know what they're cooking. They're cooking up something special.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm feeling that they listened to Valtteri Bottas a few seasons ago in real life F1. They've had their porridge. They've had their Weetabix. They are ready for this race.
Sasha in strife coming through the left-hander there of turn number 4. I think actually outbroke himself, maybe getting a bit of rear locking coming through on the mini-map there. Just saw that incident coming through the left-hander at turn number 5 there. Matteo there leading the way. Sergio in second. Belby there in third. Baz Bramer in the chat has got this absolutely spot on. He's only got more run pace to unlock as Matteo, and I think that's what is the most exciting thing about this kid. And I think he's, only 15, I think, if I'm not mistaken. He's slightly older than Cameron Dowds. He's only 15 or 16. He has got a very bright future ahead. When F1 Esports Challengers comes knocking a little bit later on, and if he's old enough, I'd love to see him competing in that because I really do hold this guy in high regard. The last time I held a driver in high regard, Matthias Van Erven. Just saying.
I mean, I feel old now because you said Matteo's 15 and I'm double his age, which is I'm over the hill now, guys. I'm going downhill.
We're both going downhill. We're both getting older. It's the old wise men here in the commentary box of EML PSF1. Matteo though leading the race, looking for the race win. Sergio there in second. Belby there in third. Matcha fourth, Eagle Javelin in fifth. I wish there was more action to bring you, but there isn't. We're just running on board with the top 5 right now. Ivan's saying in the chat as well, he just got better with experience, I think. And Baz saying he's actually 17. So Matteo was 17. I thought he was 16, personally, but he's a year older, which is good. And that means he can qualify for F1 Esports Challengers this year as well, which is very important. And obviously, potentially, with the Pro Exhibition as well. Matteo, if he is not one of those guys that is going to try and qualify for F1 Esports Challengers, I don't know what will become of him, because he has got literally the world at his feet. And even in EML, I know this is a team event, but even in PSGL, he had a very cool head there. He's had very cool heads in Legacy Division. Honestly, one of the best up-and-coming talents, mark my words right now, one of the best up-and-coming talents, I think, ever potentially on PlayStation.
And we got to see displays of that, of course, in the European Esports Championship a few months back as well. Obviously, through December and early parts of January. Just the pace that Matteo does have, and honestly, I mean, I should be charged for these plugs as well, shouldn't I? Like, it's brilliant. But yeah, I mean, we saw absolute fantastic driving from Matteo in that particular championship, and of course, he's just gone strength for strength in this game, and he's just carried on that improvement. And right now, lap 27 of 33 leads the way in the Esports Masters League F1 PS tier, and you know, Sergio is coming along for the ride right now.
Baz, honestly, the pick on the roster graphics definitely made me think he was 16. I'll just put it that way. But he is, as I say, one of the most exciting talents I think we've got on PlayStation. We've got to keep him. We've got to keep a hold of him as much as possible because honestly, I think he is really, really good. Not disowning anybody in behind. Sergio Belbelby, Macho, and Eagle Gellan, all very good in their own right. Any of these 5 can still win this race. But right now, Matteo and ETA have got this race in a complete and utter stranglehold. They can just use up their ERS to their heart's content. Belbelby, from what I said earlier on, was, 3 laps ago, 35% of ERS. He's only on 49% of ERS. Belbelby is not saving his battery at all out on track. Macho is, he's on 68%. Eagle Gellan 52. Belbelby's the one that is in trouble here for EPL. He's got very good pace right now. Macho there under pressure from Eagle Gellan, and Eagle Gellan actually passing Macho very easily indeed. And is this potentially Macho's wheel issues potentially coming back to haunt him through their final corner? Macho there down the back of Eagle Gellan. Eagle Gellan will lead in towards turn number 1 in 4th position. Macho there in 5th. Matteo there leading the way. Sergio in 2nd. Belbelby there in 3rd. Frank saying in the chat, respect for not retiring. That is with Skyline in 17th position, who is still trudging around on rear wing with rear wing damage after that incident that he had. And put it this way, me and you, Mike, if I was in his shoes right now, we would have gone home a long time ago. Certainly for me. Certainly for me, at least.
For me. I mean, not necessarily. Obviously, I mean, like over the years now, I've had to do many drives from last place just across the line. But yeah, I mean, obviously, Skyline definitely deserves like all respect because it's always horrible when you got rear wing damage and you're just going around. You know you're not going to catch anyone, but you're doing it for a team. You're representing the team. Every point counts, as we mentioned earlier. And just a little note that I did look at on this previous lap when Belbel was in the slipstream of Sergio. Belbel used around about 10-15% ERS down the straight and was not catching Sergio in the straight line. Sergio hardly used any, so that just goes to show the setup difference. It seems like Belbel just has a setup more tailor-made to these corners in the middle sector and obviously for the final sector than Sergio, who clearly has a setup that is just tailor-made to make sure that he's not overtaken down that start finish straight.
Yeah, definitely so. Belbel much stronger in the corners. By the way, if you are enjoying the stream, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell if you're brand new to the channel. 68 of you currently watching, which I think is an EML F1 record. I don't think we've had as that many of people tuning in, maybe since the end of the end of last season, potentially. So well done to everyone tuning in. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're going to be with us for the final 4 laps of this race, which is about to begin. Matteo there leading the way. Sergio in 2nd, Belbelby there in 3rd. May's actually raising a very good point in the chat as well. Could be important towards the end of the season with Skyline continuing on. Remember, point system, 3 points is what he's getting right now. Those 3 points could be absolutely crucial come the end of the season. Back on board with Belbelby. And you're right, Mike, he is not gaining down the straight, even with... He's not using up any overtake mode down towards turn number 1 this time around, but he is there through the corners. That's where his advantage is. Sergio's advantage, though, much more lower wings, I think, compared to Belbelby, and that is why he can get more progressively that downforce down in the straight lines, and then pull away from Belbelby when the straights do arise. And Belbelby now, because he's set him behind, is going to feel those tyres begin to drop off.
Yeah, I mean, so something that I just clocked in at just like a couple of laps ago. So obviously Belbelby right underneath that rear wing of Sergio. You'd think that he would have a good chance of getting the overtake down, but he was using ERS and Sergio was just pulling away. And he even, and obviously this shocked me, pulled out of the slipstream of Matteo as well. So he wasn't even getting slipstream from Matteo.
Which is, yeah, it's a bit of a strange one, but Sergio, I think, as I say, ETA have got a complete and utter stranglehold on this race. Matteo has done a fantastic job in this race, and it looks like they are playing for him for the race win. Let's just put it this way now. They're playing for him for the race win. Sergio there is going to be wingman, and they're going to try and protect that 1-2. Belbelby and EPL on their debut, doing a fantastic job. They're in 3rd. Eagle Gellan, who I believe is on his EML debut there in 4th. Of course, qualified in Legacy Division 4 at CPI in Season 4 this season. He's there in 4th. Macho there in 5th. Macho not entirely out of it either. He's got lap pressure tyres, and those lap pressure tyres will begin to come into play at the end of the race. But for now, ETA are currently out on top, and if my prediction, I didn't say prediction at the start of the race, I would have went Matteo for the race win. And Matteo now, I should have really put him on because he's looking so good out in front. Sergio and Belbelby, though, will be there to fight should Matteo make a mistake. Matteo does not want to let himself get in his own head. Worst possible thing to do at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I mean, you know, we got Belbel right now. What's called Inford clearly has a setup more tailor-made to the corners. I think in this late stage of the race, he has to start getting a little bit unpredictable of where these moves are going to come from.
Interesting. I thought Skyline was ahead of Macho there. I thought he actually just come in front of Macho coming through the right-hand return number 11. I thought that I'm not sure if it was a bit of an intimidation if that did happen, and then obviously Macho got through. But obviously they had their incident, and feelings between TF10 and Chazoo not going to be the greatest right now. So if that was a bit of an intimidation tactic, I don't like that. I really do not want to see that on track if that was. I'm not saying it was, not saying it wasn't, but to me, just from very much a glancing camera angle, looks like he came out in front. Maybe, though, that rear wing damage coming into play as well. Lap 32 out of 33, final lap of the race about to begin. Next lap around, Mateo leading the way, Sergio in second, Belbelby there in third. Who on earth is going to win? It's still up in arms, but will Belbelby making a mistake there? It's put E8 on the front foot.
Yeah, Belbelby starting to drop away from Sergio, which is only going to put him under pressure now from Igor and Macho. Of course, Macho right now has a big ERS advantage, but he's in the worst possible position for this final lap at the back of the train. It's going to be so difficult for him to make moves up the order. I'm looking now at potentially Igor trying to get a move done on Belbel here.
Potentially so, and we'll try and see what is going to happen on this final lap of the race. Matteo there getting hunted down by his own teammate. They're going to be 1-2 going on to the final lap of the race. They look like they're going to be 1-2 down the straight. Nobody is closing from behind. Matteo and Sergio have it between themselves. Could be an E8 into Team War down and towards turn 1. Matteo hangs on to the lead. Sergio there in second. Belbelby there in third. Belbelby's straight line speed is absolutely shocking. The EPL man under pressure from Igor Jelen. Igor Jelen's straight line speed wasn't that great either, and Macho in behind is now dropping off. We could see the top 5 remain as they are going on to the final lap of the race. Is Sergio though going to be given maybe one slice of the pie down in towards turn number 10? We'll see what Sergio can do on the back of Matteo. This is ETA 1-2. Regardless of how it looks right now, Matteo will be under pressure from his own teammate. But the pressure does not want to let it get to him as Baki there is spun. Coming through the right-hand return number 1. Tales there is actually through on Baki. That yellow flag was for Skyline. My apologies. Matteo, though, leads in towards turn number 10. Sergio there in second. Belbelby's coming at him now. Coming through the corners. In towards turn number 12, the Bank Sabadell. Not over and done with just yet, but Matteo looks like he's got this. Sergio now coming on through turn 13 as well. He's running behind. But it's the Italian stallion coming through the final corner on the run to the line. Oh, Matteo is going to take the race win! Just 0.006 of a second! Sergio in second. Great photo shot coming across the line. Matteo just about hangs on. Sergio in second. Belbelby there in third. They did everything right apart from nearly ending up 2004 Austria between Barrichello and Schumacher.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Like, if you ever need a clip and that for esports racing, and that's it right there. 2 teammates side by side crossing the line. My God, that was close. I thought Sergio was gonna get in on the line, but incredible stuff from Matteo. It was a mature, calm drive from the Italian throughout the entire race right there.
Evan asking if Marlon got a puncture at the end of the race. I'm right on board with him now. No, it was just pure pace. Pure pace from the top 5. Everyone in the DRS train. 22 laps on the set of mediums. Very hard to do around this track. So full credit to Marlon. Actually hanging on there to P6. Taller's there P7 as well. He came in a much later compared to everyone else. Could have actually played it differently if he was further ahead in the pack. Marlon there finishing 6th on our camera screens. Driver of the day, awarded by the in-game fans, is Tallers, who finished there behind Marlon in 7th position. Tallers started from, I think, around about 12th or 13th position, if I'm not mistaken. We'll get the interviews going very soon indeed, I'm sure. Mike, do you want to try and get the top 3 in while we while we run through the podiums and everything?
Yeah, right. They should be in the. They should be in, me and technology. Here we go, guys. What's called? They should be in the waiting room, shouldn't they?
They should be. They should be. If they're not, then just put a message in and saying we're doing interviews, and if you want one, you can join. As Matteo takes the race win out on track, a fantastic win actually from Matteo for getting that race win in the end, and only by 6,000 of a second. I don't think that matters though. What matters is a 1-2 finish for ETA. They will be absolutely thrilled with that. And the way they controlled that, nobody could get close to them. Bell Belby, Igor Gel, and Macho weren't even close, were not even there when it came to the whole grand scheme of things, when it came to the end of the race. Matteo Mad on top, Sergio in second, Italian 1-2, ET8 1-2, 6,000 of a second. Bang! But absolutely perfect from them. Bell Belby on his debut there for EPL in third, Igor Jelen there in fourth, Macho there in fifth, Marlon there in sixth, Callas there in seventh. Not sure how the game has been awarded 11th to 7th, to be honest. Tap Backy there in 8th. Matt's also there in 9th. Gold points actually for RCR there. Matt's also didn't really cover the mid-pack field. Darth FIFA there in 10th. Andreas in 11th. Phil 12th. Then Lars Kramer, Sasha, Danny, then Smalley. Scotland did complete, by the way, down in 17th. 3 laps down. Tim, Haribo, and then Jamie at the back of the race. Oh, what a race that was in Spain. Really hope you enjoyed that. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscribe if you are new to the channel. And of course, a big thank you as well while we are on and trying to get the interview sorted. That is the wrong broadcast ending screen, I have just realised. Big thank you, though, to, of course, Next Level Racing. And in fact, actually, we can turn the cameras back on. You can thank Next Level Racing ourselves because I at least am sitting on a brand new Next Level Racing chair, which I got from WR, but I'm still using it for advertisement purposes here tonight. And of course, Rising Lions for providing me with this beanie hat, which you will get me, I am sure, to wear before the end of the, not before the end of the stream, but before the end of the season. You will see me in that before the end of the season is out. So a big thank you to both our sponsors, Rising Lions and indeed Next Level Racing, for their continued support of EML. That is us done. However, we are going to try and get some interviews on, which means...
has joined the interview room. How do I bring him up, or we gotta go there? I don't know.
Hang on. I will see if I can drag him across. We'll try and work this out first. This is new to us as well. We haven't had an interview room before in Discord, in the EML Discord at least. So we'll try and get him in. Let's see if this works. I don't think it's going to work, with the permissions, but... Oh, I actually can't move him. So yeah, we're going to have to go there.
Okay, we will head down to the interview room then.
I'm going to join that right now. As, hopefully like that, people are able to hear us, and the man who I have called the biggest, the hottest talent coming through on PlayStation is here as well. Matteo, first of all, can you hear us?
I believe Mateo's having an issue right now. It says gonna enable push to talk.
Oh no, it's not that again.
yeah, no. We've had this before, Mateo. It has plagued us in the past, but bear with us. I'll try and help you out the best I can now.
Yeah, get Maze on the blow up. Maze needs to be on the blow up. We need this fixing right now. We have got Matteo in the interview room. We've managed to join it, and he can hear us fine, which is good. But we can't hear Matteo, which is the worst possible thing. So what we will do while we try and get this sorted out is actually run through what is to come going on League Racing TV, of course, on Sunday and indeed next week. First of all, of course, the PS Championship is back next week in Monza. This time next week, 28th of February, 8 p.m. UK time if you do want to tune in for F1. F2, of course, at 7 p.m. UK time. And Mike, obviously with Monza, Temple of Speed, 75% of that lap can be taken at full throttle. The curbs are deadly around there. Could be a bit like Spain tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% could. Of course, Monza is all about traction coming out of those chicanes where it's just going to be absolutely incredible because you can get a fantastic run out of the first chicane into the second chicane, De La Rocha. Of course, I'm interested to see, are we going to be seeing some fantastic side-by-side battles through the likes of Ascari, through the legs of Parabolic. It's their temple of speed, ladies and gentlemen. We are all hyped for it, and I cannot wait for next week already.
Yeah, Covered El Serralio as well, running down in towards Ascari. Lesmos, it is a track filled with history. A track probably filled with Ferrari fans next week as well. The Tifosi will be out in order. They might be out in order for the man who, of course, won this race in
Can you hear me?
Matteo. As we can, as he comes through on my screen, which is good. Matteo, we can hear you, which is good. Right, we shall conduct this interview then. Big well done on that race when I said in commentary that you are one of the hottest talents coming through on PlayStation, and I still stand by that after that race win. Talk us through it, because it got a little bit tetchy at the end there, 6,000ths of a second.
Qualifying wasn't really satisfying because I know I only lost pole position because Jamie did slipstream while I didn't. But yeah, in the end, even if I didn't have the advantage of slipstream, I should have got pole because my speed was much better than that. Either way, P2 isn't too bad. You always can build from that position in the race. And I think that's what we did perfectly tonight. First lap, just worked with Jamie to create a wall basically against the NLR drivers to not let them pass. And that was, I think, the key for what happened later in the race, because Marlon and Tim weren't able to gap, obviously. Then some chaos happened with Phil and Tim. We made really good use of that because we came out in a 1-2 position, and basically we didn't leave that 1-2 until the end of the race. Once we understood the race was going to be under control until the finish line, we just said, why not go for a parade finish? And that's what we did. A bit sketchy, but it came out in the perfect way.
A parade finish. You nearly lost that race win, though. Let's just face it. You nearly lost that race win to your teammate, and that would not have been good because you did everything right in that race. Sergio there finishing in second. Full amount of points for E8, bar the fastest lap. Great way to start the season.
Yeah, obviously that's what we aimed for tonight, to start the season in the right way. It couldn't get any better, obviously. And for what concerns the parade, my aim is just to make ET8 get some good points in every race I do for them. So yeah, even if I lost the race win, I wouldn't have cared that much. Also, Sergio really deserves it. He's a driver I know since like 2018. I know how fast he is. He's been quite unlucky in the races he did for us, but for that exact reason, he would have deserved the win as much as me today.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job as well. Obviously, E8 taking the full amount of points, which is always good. I am now going to ask you, though, and remind you of what happened in Legacy Division after round one of the championship there. Ian Van Noonen took the race win. E8 now no longer leading the championship in Legacy Division. So, is it a case of get your hopes up quite high at the start of the season, or are you just being realistic going into the next race in Monza?
I know what we can do. Personally, I think we can fight for the top 3 at least in every team event. Ward obviously started in the right way. We couldn't really keep up after the Monaco race, but I know there's still a lot to play for, and we're not gonna give up neither in EML or in Ward. So yeah, what we gotta do is just stay consistent, which is what we lacked in the other team event, and hopefully we can do it in EML.
Yeah, no outplayed racing at F7R to worry about here in EML. Don't you worry at all. Mike, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
Yeah, obviously. I mean that entire race. I mean, I said it in the at the end of the race, and that was a mature drive from yourself. But I wanted to ask you, of course, you referred to that incident between Tim and Phil on lap 10. What was your thought process when it was 3 wide going into turn 1 at that particular moment? Because of course they're both on soft tires that are wearing. You're on the hards on a different strategy. Tell me what was going through your mind at that point.
As I said, once we didn't let Tim and Marlon gap, I knew the race was gonna be under control for basically the full distance. I just tried to not get spun around in that instance. In the end, me and Sergio came out of that corner in a 1-2 position. It could have ended a lot worse, but I just did a great job to avoid Phil going for the dive bomb, prepared the exit of the corner, and yeah, that's it basically. It could have ended a lot worse, but it didn't, so we're happy with that.
Absolutely incredible. Of course, I want to bring another highlight to that incredible overcut that you did on your in lap. We were thinking that you was going to come out in the mid pack at that point because obviously you gained so much on undercut around you, but the pace you showed on your in lap was absolutely incredible. I mean, was you using quite a bit of VRS on your in lap?
Both me and Sergio had full battery before the pit stops. So yeah, obviously we let Sergio go into the pits first. And then when we saw that the whole train basically pitted, we told Sergio to just park the bus in the middle sector. And that worked perfectly because, Sergio had the same tires as everyone, basically. I had fresher tires than everyone, apart from Macho, I think. And yeah, I used some ERS, but the main part of the work was done by Sergio, which parked the bus in the middle sector.
Yeah, and that is fantastic as well because of course it is a team event and that's great teamwork from yourself and Sergio right there.
Yeah, and obviously coming into Monza next week, Matteo, while we still got you here, is it going to be the same partnership, Matteo and Sergio? Is it going to be a double Italian partnership at your home track?
It will obviously be fantastic to get another result like this at our home track. But to be honest, I don't really know what the lineup is going to be for Monza. We will just do lobbies as always during the week, and from then on, we will decide based on who can race and who cannot.
Yeah, it's always the best way of deciding things, and I'm sure whatever the future holds for you here in EML and whatever the future holds in general, it is a very bright future at that as well. Go and enjoy your evening, Matteo.
Thanks, James, and obviously thanks to the whole team, especially Lalo, who engineered us tonight in a beautiful way.
There we go, engineers and everyone getting credits, which is always good to see. Big thank you to Matteo, of course, for that interview. I don't think we're getting anyone else in, Mike, unless I'm wrong.
No one else has responded to me as of yet. No Sergio, no Bell. So I think we are all good to wrap up if it's all good with you.
I think we're all good to wrap up as well. And yeah, I really hope you did enjoy that stream. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, click that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. We're adding EML interviews in as well this season, as well as at the end of the race, just to try and get some of the drivers' thoughts in. And from next week as well, we're going to try and get a little bit of insight from one of the teams. We're going to try and do an in-focus feature on one of the teams. Each said obviously it was Matteo this week, obviously with my bias shown towards him in commentary. Next week we're going to pick a team and I am going to try and get a few words maybe from a manager, an engineer or one of the drivers who is participating in the race next week. I know Lesty and F2 are doing that as well, so I think I'm going to jump on the bandwagon and we'll do an in-focus feature every single week, and that is if the teams want to as well, which I think is going to be good for us and obviously extra content for us to produce on the channel as well. But big thank you to Mike alongside me in the comment box. You now can't see Mike, unfortunately, because we're still in the interview room and our cameras were on in the other chat. So we will end off the stream, I'm sure, absolutely blank. But if you did enjoy the stream, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. A reminder of what is to come as well on League Racing TV. PS Championship, of course, next week in Monza, but before then, we've got the PC side as well in Monza, the 25th of February, and it's Josh Griffin, Meek, and Deathling taking you through the action there for the PC Championship round number 2. Their interview chats, I'm sure, are going to get sorted before then as well, and you'll be hearing from them, of course, as we go through. Big thank you, though, to everyone who joined us. Big thank you to somebody that has just joined us here. Oh, it is Bell Belby, and we're going to interview Bell Belby then. Oh, are we?
Yeah, hello everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, Bell Belby, fantastic result from you out on track. In the end, remind me of your position. Was it P3?
Yes, P3.
P3. Solid result. EPL on their debut. Must be happy.
Yeah, we are truly happy with this result. We had some bad luck with those last races, and we take it definitely.
Definitely take it for sure. I'm just calling. Apologies about that. I am just calling somebody apparently on my Discord. Can you still hear me, by the way? Yes, you can, which is
Yeah,
good.
we can hear
Yep.
you. We can hear
I was calling Nexus Bunnies of all people. He's probably wondering why the hell am I getting a call off him? I've just leant on my iPad and realised I was calling him. Anyways, Bell Belby, P3 of course out on track. EPL had their fair share of really good luck, I think, within that race, along with you and Macho. You had really good cornering speed coming through the corners. Obviously a low setup. Down the straights though, what on earth happened? Because you were almost catching Sergio, and then in the second half of the straight, you just falling back into the clutches of the guys behind.
Yeah, like you said, we had a high wing setup, so in straight line it was really difficult, and Sajoli and Matteo were helping each other really good, and it was almost impossible to catch them. So I tried my best with my battery, but at the end, I still P3. Macho didn't catch me, and the CPI guy behind them,
Igor.
too. So yeah, Igor, right. And yeah, with my step, I had a great speed entry that helped me a lot in the sector one, at the end of the sector one and sector two and three. So I'm really happy with the results.
I'm really glad you're happy with the result. I dare not tell you how much ERS the guys ahead of you were on. They were on 86% and 98%. So I don't
Yeah,
think
that's what I was thinking.
I don't think
Yeah.
with how their batteries were
Mm.
going at the end of the race. But still, phenomenal result from you. P3 out on track. Mike, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
Yeah, obviously, it was a great race from yourself. You obviously maintained the pace in that front pack throughout the entirety of the race. Obviously, going for the pit stop when you did, obviously you came in with a lot of the other guys. Were you hoping that you maybe would have got a slight undercut on them?
Yeah, basically the strategy was to not be undercutted. So my engineer told me that when someone in front just boxed to follow him, and the strategy worked well, and that's what happened. I stayed. I could pass the field really easily with those fresh mediums, and that's great for me.
Yeah, of course, you did come out in a little bit of traffic, and they got a little bit,
Yeah.
got a little bit scrappy in the park as you were trying to cut your way through. Obviously, that's probably the worst thing about pitting with everyone. You get a little bit of the cold tires, but obviously, fantastic for you to make your way through. And of course, at the end, Igor putting the pressure on. Did you think, obviously, because you were using a bit of the battery to try and catch up to Sergio, did you think at the end, oh no, I'm going to be vulnerable right here now to the CPA drivers in behind?
To to be honest, I was only thinking about catching the P2, not I wasn't looking behind. I didn't care a lot about the guys behind. I mean I was paying a little bit attention, but I was only focused on catching those ET8 drivers.
Absolutely fantastic. And of course, obviously P3 for you and P7 for Tails. Obviously, a good start for the EPL team. I believe this is your first season as well in EML. So off to an absolute flying start for the brand new team on the block.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
obviously.
it's
Oh, go on.
no, go on. I don't have anything to say. Sorry.
I was gonna say EPL have been doing rather well in Legacy Division as well. Obviously, I cover Legacy Division as well as EML, and EPL have been doing very well there. Is there any? I'm trying to look for the word. Any like transitional like skills coming across from like team events that you're finding you're doing? Any like I don't know, like it's difficult to explain, but basically, are you doing anything different to what you are in Legacy Division? I mean, you've scored more points than you've done in Legacy Division, so yeah.
Yeah, but I mean Legacy Division. I don't want to be rude or something, but Legacy Division is another level too. So it's really more difficult to get points, and we don't do anything more for EML than to World Legacy Division. So Yeah, sometimes for this competition we don't have luck, or we don't have the pace. Sometimes it can happen, but no, we don't change anything. We
Which
are
is
just
good.
training.
Yeah, which is it's a bit strange, but it's also good in a way because obviously you can now work on from EML and obviously push on going into Legacy Division as well on
Mm.
Tuesday, which will be very important indeed. What's the feeling going into Monza as well from an EPL standpoint? Obviously next week, Monza second round of the championship. How do you think EPL are going to get on around there?
I, I will not be. I will be really optimistic because I think we can win every races, but we will see. I mean, Monza is a track where everyone can overtake, so everything can happen as today. So we will see, but I hope we are going to do great results.
Yeah, I like the thinking around that. I like the thinking. It's not like my thinking where you go
Thank
into
you.
no expectations and just have very low expectations and then you get a race win out of it. That's probably the best feeling
Yeah,
I've
we
ever
want to win
experienced.
everything. It's a drive. It's our mentality.
It is.
Even though we sometimes don't succeed,
You're not a
we think
league.
this way.
You're not a league racer if you don't think that way. Just put it that way. But I will let you go and enjoy evening, Bell Belby.
Thank you, guys, and thank you for commentating.
You are very welcome indeed. And that is definitely going to round us off now for the stream. A big thank you to Matteo and indeed for Bell Belby for joining us, of course, in the interviews room. Always good to hear from the drivers after their thoughts. Of course, Monza next week. Already previewed what's going on in Monza. PC side, as I was saying before we had Bell Belby join us, Monza next week for PC, and it's Joshua Griffin Meek and Deathling taking you through the action. And that is at 7 p.m. UK time on Sunday. So if you do want to watch that, you can tune in for that as well. And you get the extra treat as well, PC, of having Baku on Easter Sunday, which is always good for the PC side as well. One of the first ever times we ran a PC side for the EML Championship as well. And it's definitely bright future ahead for EML. I can definitely tell you that. Big thank you though to Mike for joining me in the commentary box. We're going to end it off here. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, goodbye.